Welcome back, everybody, to the Chroncast. I am your host, Alex Rickman, editor and head writer at Canucks Chronicles and club reporter at Your Altitude FC. Joining me, as always, from the Hockey News is Kaja Antic. Kaja, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Let's just get right into it for this
Are you
week.
dead?
Not yet.
I bet that are you frozen? And I was like, oh wait, that could, yeah. Anyway. This week
Off to a flying start.
is the week of November. There was a stat day for Remembrance Day.
Yes.
So I hope you all remembered the veterans who fought in the World Wars and Korea, etc. And yeah, that's hope you took the pittance of time. That song is a good song. Anyway, the Canucks.
Yeah, so...
Something somehow more depressing.
And a week that started with Remembrance Day and the anniversary of the Edmund Fitzgerald. Let's start by talking about the game they played on Remembrance Day.
Happy 50th.
I was unable to watch this game against the Winnipeg Jets, where they fell 5-3 at home. Kaja, were you able to catch this one?
I watched most of it. I gave up near the end of the third, and I went to a friend's house because it was her birthday. But I watched most of it. That was something that happened. Thatcher Demko, his maintenance day apparently did nothing to help. Quinn Hughes might have dislocated his shoulder or broke something. I don't really care. I care. That sounds bad. He got injured. Basically, the curse has befallen the Canucks again. They had a great weekend, 3 out of 4 points, and then Winnipeg came in and, yeah, that happened. I'm glad Luke Shen won. Except Jonathan Taves. How? Why? Why is it always him? I thought he had finished terrorizing the Canucks when I was in elementary school. And now he's back.
Yep. It will never end.
Nope.
Yeah, let's just go into the fact that everyone on this team is once again hurt. Not sure about the status of Hughes and Demko at the moment. Sherwood also went down at one point during that game, so that's one to watch. It's just
It's
like...
Kiefer Sherwood. Kiefer Sherwood never break.
I mean, I hope not, given he has pretty much been our team this year. Him and Demko. But like...
Hey, Jake DeBrusk, so many power play goals.
It just feels like every year, with the exception of 2023-24, the Canucks are just the epitome of Murphy's Law.
Yeah.
It's just... I don't get it. It feels like we are going nowhere, and I think that feeling is going to continue because of what was revealed at a press conference this morning. So I'm going to read a quote from Jim Rutherford on this morning's press conference. As we know, a lot of people in the fan base are quite fed up with the direction or lack thereof of this team at the moment and are wanting to see it get blown up, especially with Quinn Hughes, let's face it, not looking like he's going to re-sign at this point. So, Jim Rutherford this morning, facing the media, said, "Rebuilds can work, but you have to understand rebuilds take a long time. There has to be a lot of patience, and for teams that take the biggest jump and ultimately rebuild and win a cup, they usually have a first overall pick. And you still have to get lucky on that. I'm not naming teams, but some have tried to rebuild and had a ton of draft picks that didn't turn out. So rebuild is not something that we're going to look at doing. Like I said, we're in transition, but we're not trading all these players for draft picks that may or may not end up playing someday. Rutherford would also go on to mention that trading key players like young players, like Willander, Lekermaki, Coots, that is not part of the plan. The team just wants to get healthy, go find a second line center, and go on from there. So, a lot to unpack here.
Okay. I'm going to mention this later on in the show, but here's a little tidbit as like a precursor. This is like using spray foam to fix your exhaust pipe. It's not going to work, bro. Like putting duct tape on, it's not going to work. It's like when I almost totaled my first car in a parking lot. Long story. But that's also because the car was like ridiculously cheap. If I just put a band-aid on that. That's basically what Jim Rutherford is saying. And also I love how he's like, I'm not going to name teams. He means the Edmonton Oilers. Because how many of their first overall picks do they still have? 1? Nuge. 2?
McDavid. 2. Yeah, McDavid and Nuge.
Yeah, McDavid and Nuge. Because Yakupov, legend. Taylor Hall, he's still playing. I forgot that. But yeah, like, and the Oilers, have they had success? Arguably, yeah, they've gotten to the Stanley Cup Finals, but it's the Oilers. Alex's favorite team. So, yeah, I don't know, rebuilds, that's the word. If I hear retool again, I swear. Yeah, honestly, who says no? Who's the manager of the Islanders?
Darsh.
It's not
Matthew
Lou
Darsh.
anymore. Okay.
Matthew
Does
Darsh.
he have a Penguins connection?
No, Lightning.
Shoot. Okay. I was hoping with Penguins connection, because then there's a 1-for-1 trade. It's a sign and trade, but it's a 1-for-1. Bring him home. Bring him back.
Check out Canucks Chronicles by the time this podcast is uploaded for an article on a similar topic by the very talented Jaden Tisha.
Woo! Jaden!
Yeah, it just feels... It just feels like every time this team has the opportunity to do something that will potentially set them up for some kind of success, they will take the exact opposite route. Because right now, this team is utterly directionless. There is nothing that... Like, would getting a second line center help make this team better? Yes, sure it would. But using your car example, getting a second line center is like if we had our tires slashed so we bought a new stereo.
Yeah, Band-Aid on a bullet
The
hole.
problems run a lot deeper than that. And without seriously addressing the actual problems that this team has with, like, not even just on-ice stuff, it seems like there is a major culture problem in this organization. There's no buy-in. Nobody wants to be here. The boys don't look like they hate to lose. This just is not... It doesn't work. No amount of telling yourselves that we just need one more piece. This will fix it. This will fix it. This is like one more lane will fix traffic if it was a hockey team. Like, I get it. Rebuilds are hard. There is no guarantee that you will come out on the other side actually looking like a strong team. You need to do it right. But if you commit to actually doing it the right way, if you commit to locking in and just saying, okay, we are going to suffer for a few years, but at the end of this, we are going to become a solid team. Whether or not you become like a perennial cup contender or even just become a solid team, it's going to be a hell of a lot better than it is right now. Right now, all you're doing is turning fans away and making more of a problem for yourself.
Yeah.
Because the thing, too, is Canucks fans have been through all of the pain of a rebuilding franchise without any of the direction or future success that gets promised by these rebuilding teams. When we started our... I'm not going to call it a rebuild because we haven't rebuilt. When we started our period of being terrible, that was around when Chicago and San Jose were also becoming terrible. In 5 years' time, who is going to be a better team here? Us or the Sharks or the Blackhawks?
Sharks.
Yeah.
I don't want the Blackhawks to have success.
Neither do I, but I have to admit they are probably going to have it regardless.
I do not care. The deal is 1-for-1, Chicago. Forget Bo. Okay, listen here. I had a point. The point has now escaped me. I have the point again. Jim, you going to the media and saying you need a first overall pick to rebuild and stuff like that. Listen, I know it's not rigged, but come on. You asking for it basically point blank, let's get a first overall pick. You're not gonna get one. Baby, this is the Canucks. They didn't even get the first overall pick in the expansion, in their first draft, because the NHL hated Vancouver. The NHL passed over Vancouver in the 1967 expansion because of, I believe it was Smythe? I might be getting this wrong. This was in a book I read, but I haven't read it in a while. It passed over because I believe it was Smythe wanted to build an arena in Vancouver, and then Vancouver said no, and so the NHL didn't look at Vancouver for years because of it, even though they were like, yeah, no, we're going to build this thing. Anyway, that's a whole other story. But Jim, you're not gonna get a first overall pick like this, buddy. This is not the strat. I also have some points on Jim Rutherford as a general manager, but I have another YouTube video idea planned for that, so I'm not going to mention that right now. Yeah. The Canucks are doomed. Are we cursed? Yeah, probably. Did you see that, this is somewhat related, do you see that apparently there's signs out in Toronto now from Bills Mafia asking Toronto sports fans to not associate Toronto with the Bills because of the Toronto sports curse? That is actually hilarious.
I love that. But just like on the Canucks, I'm so tired of this. I'm so tired of just hearing that, no, this'll work, this'll fix it. We don't believe you anymore. No one in this fan base who is actually locked in on this team believes a word out of this front office, out of this ownership regime anymore. Just stop lying. Start being honest to us about what you're trying to do here. Just face the music, guys. It's over. We're not buying this anymore, okay? Accept it. Be honest with yourselves about where the team is, and be honest with the fan base about what you're trying to do here, because we know this is not... Any logical member of a front office is going to look at this team and say, it's not good enough, we need to tear it down. We know why you're doing this. You know why you're doing this. You know it's not going to work. The people of Vancouver deserve better than this. But, I mean, speaking of solutions that are just meant to paper over the massive cracks in this organization, David Kampf will come in and save us for sure, won't he?
He cleared waivers. His contract is determinated. That's not a word.
Being terminated.
Being terminated. Yeah, that's a choice to bring in. I forgot he was still playing.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not official yet. He could end up signing elsewhere still or anything. It's just feels likely that he'll end up in Vancouver. And I mean, I don't mind the addition. I think the idea of getting a center who can play on your fourth line, win you faceoffs, and kill penalties is definitely needed right now. But, like, what is this gonna do?
Nothing, really. I watched quite a number of Leafs games when David Kampf was a regular in the lineup. I don't really see why he would affect things in Vancouver. But maybe that's just me. I really don't understand anything the Canucks do at this point.
Yeah, like, I get that the penalty kill has not been good enough, the face-offs have not been good enough, and that camp would help with both of those. But at the end of the day, signing a fourth liner is not going to suddenly take us from absolute hot mess to being a contender. Like, this move is just not going to move the needle whatsoever. It's maybe going to help a touch to eliminate a few of the goals we've been giving up. But, like...
Why not? It worked for Florida with Brad Marchand. My favorite fourth liner. I'm sorry,
David Kampf and Brad Marchand. Clearly, the exact same player. So
exact same player, David Marchand.
So can't wait for Brad Kampf to come join the Canucks
because
fourth
I want
line.
to bring this up. Stop it!
Yeah, we can talk about the Canucks legend.
Canucks legend Troy Stecher is on waivers from the Oilers because Zach Hyman's coming back from injury. Cool. Bring him home. I want Troy from Richmond. That's it. Bring Phoebe back to us. Bring Phoebe back to us!
I love Phoebe. I love Tony. Where are you going to put him, though?
What side shot is he
feels
again?
Like... Right.
Oh, shoot. Trade Hronek, who cares? Yeah, that's my piece on Troy Stecher. I just like Troy Stecher.
Hey, we like Troy Stecher. He's a very likable guy. It's just, I don't think... It's not the time. We gotta wait a little longer. Abby?
What did Abby. Okay, you cut out for a second. I was about to start singing a piece from Hamilton.
My signal
Abbotsford
right now is
Canucks
terrible.
finally won at home. Okay, I was just like, bro. Abbotsford Canucks finally won at their home arena, the arena formerly known as the Abbotsford Sports and Entertainment Center, or Entertainment and Sports Center, Abbotsford Center. That's what it's called. Anyway, they finally won at home. Aku Koskenvuo, with his first career AHL win. He started playing professional hockey about a week before this because he was at Harvard the last 3 years. He started 2 games in the ECHL with Kalamazoo in Michigan and then called up because I think Matera is with the Vancouver Canucks now because Demko's out. Tolopilo is still injured, so it's basically Ty Young. It was Ty Young and Patera, and I think they also called... Oh, I forgot what his name is, but they called up another goalie from the ECHL on loan, but I forgot his name, and I feel so bad. But yeah, Koskenvuo got his first win. They went down 2-0 early on in the game against the San Jose Barracuda, who, fun fact, beat them 7-0 the night before. But yeah, it was a fun experience. When they tied the game, Joe LeBate got the tying goal in the final 90 seconds or so on the power play. Yeah, that was a time. I was also standing right under the horn at that point, and I didn't realize, so that scared me. But yeah, and then they win in the shootout. It was a great experience. Yeah, good job, Abby. You won. They break an 11-game losing streak, and it's their first win at home on November 14th. And people have been saying, oh, well, I'm glad that Manny Malhotra wasn't called up to be the Vancouver coach. Let's also look at the roster he's been dealing with. Because if you think Adam Foote has problems, oh boy, most of Adam Foote's players are supposed to be Manny's players. So, yeah. Anyway, Olympics are happening this year, and that's why the schedule is like that. And I'm going to say it. Canada's Olympic jerseys are bad.
Yeah, so Canada's 3 Olympic jerseys, I believe, released the day we recorded or uploaded our last podcast. 3 jerseys.
Because, of course.
Now, of course, one of them I do really like.
Okay.
The white jersey with the red maple leaf.
Yeah, because that's the actual colors of the freaking Canada flag.
Yeah, so the white jersey I actually think is pretty clean.
Mm-hmm.
But then they have a red and a black jersey, and these two just... First of all, coming off of the Four Nations jerseys, which I absolutely loved, this is a big downgrade. And second of all, the material the maple leaf is made with, on all 3 admittedly, but especially shows, I think, on the red jersey, it just looks cheap.
Yeah, like, if you're complaining about the slapdash, like, last-minute efforts to build the arena in Milan, talk about the jersey design, because holy, it's so basic, and it's the same ones they've ran for years from Hockey Canada. And it's like, what happened? Like, I get it, you want to move away from the classics, but also it's just it's so basic. It's so basic. A toddler with an iPad could draw that in Canva in 5 minutes. Like, what are you talking about? I also think that in order to make it an actual good jersey, maybe they have, because there's a lot of different design elements in other jerseys, particularly Finland. I love the Finnish jerseys. It's the Canada ones that just suck. They suck so bad. It's so awful. The stripes along the bottom don't go all the way around. This is driving me insane. Yeah, one design tip, maybe adds, like, I get it. You want to have the maple leaf. That's the big symbol of Canada. It's on the frickin' flag. I get it. That's super cool. Potentially get some Indigenous designers, maybe, to actually acknowledge the history of hockey and the history of Canada. To, because instead of it being just so neo-colonial awful, get some other artwork, get some artists. Like, Canada also has storied art history. I'm not counting the group of 7 because it was all men, but all white men, because they didn't count the Indigenous guy that they originally had. They don't really count him as one of them, and they don't also count Emily Carr, even though she also... I have a lot of opinions about Canadian history. But yeah, like, okay, give me a second here. I'm gonna go get the Team Canada jerseys I have. I'll be right back. You keep talking about, I don't know, Sam Darnold, Sam Darnold.
Okay, we're back. I decided to also get my Canada jersey out and throw it on. Kaja,
what year is that from?
I don't know. I got it in the trunk of the car. What year is that from? Long story.
Okay. Long story? Okay. Well, first I have this one that I'm going to assume is as old as me. There's, like, coffee on it or something up there. I don't know. Fully admitting that I took these from my dad's closet. But he's not in the country, so it's okay. Oh, shoot. Yeah, so there's this one. I'm assuming it's from 2002, maybe 2006. There's no dates on it. I can't tell. Oh, wait, maybe I could tell. Bauer, authentic. It just says home man, half of it's in French, because of course, and there's no other dates on it. Thank you, Bauer. But still, cool. Then this one is one of the 2010 ones, because it says Vancouver 2010 on there. And look at the maple leaf design. What was I telling you?
Yeah. It's not really showing on camera too well, but for those who don't know, there's, like, Indigenous artwork within the maple leaf.
And there's, like, a gold outline. It says Canada. Like, you could take away the text. Personally, I'm a big fan of text on jerseys. I like the old Orca with the Vancouver better than the Canuck. You know what I mean. This one's a Nike. But yeah, look at that maple leaf. It's better than whatever the heck the silicone latex is pleather is going on. Like, do I have them in reach? No. I have pleather leather pants, like not pleather leather. Fake plastic leather pants I got from H&M. The material that they made the black maple leaves out of looks like that. So, yeah. Anyway, do something. I know it's not as symbolic because we're not like the Olympics are in Italy. But still, just because it's Italy doesn't mean you have to pretend to be at Fashion Week. I'm out of focus. Do something like this! Anyway.
Yeah, like, they're just so boring. The white one, again, I do think looks pretty good, but that's more by accident than anything on Bauer's part or Hockey Canada's part. The plain black jersey, too, I just, like... I don't know. Maybe I'm old man yelling at cloud. I don't love when Canada play in black as the primary color as opposed to red or white. Like, it's Canada. It should be red or white as the base color. Black is an accent, no problem, but it shouldn't be the primary color on a jersey, in my opinion.
Yeah, like, where is that on the Canadian flag?
Yeah. And I get that there are countries that don't play in the colors on their flags. For example, like the Netherlands playing in orange or Italy playing in blue or something. But those are ones where they have a long history of it. Canada playing in black is a very recent phenomenon, and it's just one where it feels forced.
Why does Italy play in blue?
I don't know, I didn't design it.
I know the Netherlands thing, because...
I think Italy, it might have to... My guess would be something to do with the old royal family, because I know their crest had some blue in it.
Oh, okay, that would make sense.
That's entirely a guess on my part. I could be off the mark.
I did not pay attention during that week of my Mediterranean history class, so...
Oh, fair enough.
I was focused on Serbia.
Just like... And again, just coming off of the Four Nations jerseys, which I thought were absolutely fantastic, it's just a disappointment to see that this is the best we could come up with for the first Olympics with NHL players back in them in God knows how long. Well, no, people do know how long. It was 2014. 12 years. So, It'll be 12 years, yeah.
Can I make a comment before we move on to other sports about hockey, kind of related to Hockey Canada?
Yeah, sure.
Rick Westhead just released a new book called We Breed Lions. A lot of it covers hockey culture, specifically like the 2018 World Junior Championships lawsuit and that process. Admittedly, I have not read it yet. I plan to, but I've heard just from other reviewers online that is very good, very insightful about hockey culture in Canada. And yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. Highly recommend that book.
Yeah, I mean, I also have not read it or anything yet, so can't give a personal review, but just Rick does fantastic work, one of the best in the game, so...
Yes.
It's going to be something worth checking out for sure. Quickly, before we go into other sports, little breaking news.
Oh, God.
This one's a doozy. Devils forward Jack Hughes will be sidelined for the foreseeable future after cutting his hand at a team dinner. Like, first of all, okay, wishing him well and a speedy recovery, but also, huh?
That's an Alex Rickman injury. How do you do that to yourself?
Not even I've done that.
Really?
No, not at a team dinner, but I mean...
My God.
Those who know. I'll explain later. Anyway.
Okay.
This will take too much time on it.
That's like a Mookie Betts stubs his toe type injury. That's so ridiculous.
So, years ago, I remember hearing about I think it was Kevin Pillar. It was one of the Blue Jays players who sneezed and pulled his oblique.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
I think so.
This is kind of giving me that kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Where it's just random day-to-day thing just results in player missing time for injury. Or another pitcher, I think it was, I forget who, once again, who sliced his hand open doing the dishes.
Yeah,
I think he was a pitcher for
remember that.
Cleveland.
I don't remember who it was, but yeah.
Or Trevor Bauer getting cut on his hand with a drone.
It's Trevor Bauer. There's a lot of things that could be said about that man.
Trevor Bauer is nothing if not fascinating.
That's one way to put it. I don't know. I concussed myself on a lamp, and also while sledding. So,
did you sled into a lamp?
No, these were two separate incidents.
CTESPN.
With about 8 years between them. Yeah, that's basically what the show is. Yeah, I hit a jump when I was sledding with my family, and it was just like a regular hill. And then my head hurt for like about a week, and everyone thought I was being dramatic.
Speaking of CTESPN, Jameis Winston starting this week for the Giants. Let's go.
Oh yeah.
Another player with the fun CTE. But before we start talking about that football, let's quickly pivot to the other football and talk about the Whitecaps.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, no news to report on in the sense of there hasn't been a game since our last show, and there probably won't be before our next show still, given our normal recording schedule. However, there is some news. The Whitecaps have sold out BC Place for their Western Conference semifinal against LAFC. Over 53,000 sold. This is just unfathomable given where the Caps were a few years ago.
Given where they were this off-season.
Oh, yeah.
They were like, oh yeah, no, they're gonna move. I made a whole documentary about this thing. Check it out, Kaja on youtube.com. I did a whole documentary on the Caps potentially moving. Okay? And then they became good. And just be like, what? Yeah, it's complete 180 from the club last year. Even last few years. Like, I think the most lively before the season that I saw the stadium was like the 2022 Canadian Championship Finals. First time I got COVID. Yeah.
I still haven't had it.
Okay. I have gotten it twice at Canadian Championship Finals, dude.
Oh, impressive.
Twice. Yeah. What else was I gonna say? I was gonna say, where was I during the Canadian Championship Finals this year? I was in Calgary. This is the first one I haven't gone to, which is kind of crazy. I mean, I wasn't there in 2015, but anyway.
Same.
Yeah, I was probably in grade 7. Yeah, it's crazy. It's sold out. I'm sure it'll be a great atmosphere. Playoff towels are a thing now for the Whitecaps, which, cool.
Now, I would just like to put 2 things out into the universe for this game. 1.
Okay.
The atmosphere in there is obviously going to be incredible regardless of anything.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't it be especially cool, please humor me on this, if the Whitecaps could organize in the crowd a whiteout? Like you see with the Winnipeg Jets, like you see with Penn State, like you see with some of these teams. Get everyone in there wearing white, just create that visual, get things going early, enhance what is going to be an already incredible atmosphere in there by getting the crowd on one page. Bonus effect, people who are showing up to watch Heung-min Son will likely be in either Korea or Spurs jerseys, which are already white.
Mm-hmm.
So you negate the effect of the tourists. Second thing I'd like to put out into the universe. This is drawing from my college football fandom and my enjoyment of embarrassing myself at sporting events. At Oklahoma State University, there has been a phenomenon going on this year in Section 231. Oklahoma State University. It all began with one drunk man who was standing alone in a section watching Oklahoma State get blown out, took his shirt off and started waving it over his head. Then a few more guys went over and joined him. And then a few more. And then a few more. To the point where the entire section, bleeding over into other sections next to it, were entirely filled with shirtless dudes waving their shirts over their head. It was probably thousands of people in the end. This has become a thing, not only at Oklahoma State in ensuing games, but in other college football stadiums. If someone is dumb enough to do this at BC Place, I cannot offer a financial prize as I am a broke college student. However, I will love you forever. That's all I have to say about that.
Okay.
I'm easily amused by college football.
Comment. I am not going to comment. Speaking of football, other football.
Yeah, so let's start with Canadian football, which still is going through with stupid rule changes. I just wanted to mention that. The BC Lions fall in the Western Conference Final. Sorry?
The MLS schedule change.
Oh my god, how did we forget this? Yes.
I forgot!
League decisions,
okay. Yes.
We'll talk about the CFL stupidity later.
Yeah, the MLS has decided to change their schedule to a fall/spring. I have no idea. They're basically... So they changed it to align more with the European type schedules, but also brought it directly into more confrontation with the football, like gridiron football, hockey schedules, World Series, basically every sport under NBA, every sport under the sun, aside from football. Like, their only competition during the summer, really. I mean, getting into MLS Cup season is when there's other football as well. But, like, if you like your team, we're going to pick a one soccer game over, like, 5 football games in a day. But that's just me. Yeah, they're picking that. They're going to be in competition, except there's a 2-month break in the season. There doesn't make any sense. And I mentioned this to a friend of mine. I was like, oh my gosh, they changed the schedule for the MLS to be like a Euro schedule. And he's just like, oh, okay, well then that works better for like the FIFA breaks. And then I said, oh no, it starts in 2027. And he's like, what? Like, that the World Cup is next year, brother. This doesn't make any sense. And also for northern markets, I understand that they're like, oh, December, February, that's weather. Okay. Toronto, screwed. Montreal, screwed. Minnesota, Colorado, so many markets are done for. Salt Lake, oh gosh, Seattle maybe too. Like, Vancouver is so lucky they have a roof, but there's so
Seattle, I think it's just their fans are gonna get wet, but
still, like, New England, and
Chicago,
like, also the southern teams, like, especially the ones in Florida, which is probably the reason they're going to the schedule anyway, because you know who signed a deal. Hurricane season, brother. Why?
But
none of this makes sense. It doesn't make sense whatsoever. Like, people are like, oh, it makes sense because of this. No!
Like, I get it because, like your friend would have said, aligning with the European schedule, like, not for this World Cup specifically, but in general, does make sense, and I think it does make transfer windows a little easier. Yeah, but, first of all, the way they're doing it, where there's going to be, like, a 14-game season as, like, a transition year? What? Mm-hmm. That makes no sense at all. The northern markets, as you mentioned, are absolutely screwed. I don't know what Montreal is going to even do about this, because they cannot play at Stade Saputo in the winter months.
No.
The 2-month break in the season, I get, like, the Bundesliga, for example, does take a winter break in their season for around a month, I believe. So having a winter break makes sense. A 2-month winter break?
That's basically an off season.
And here's what really I wonder about, because the MLS regular season, I believe right now, is 35 or 36 match days, which is about the same as the Bundesliga. So the season is set to go on for about the same length. Mm-hmm. MLS now has playoffs at the end of this. How are you going to fit that many games into this stretch while also having a 2-month break? Look, fixture congestion is such a problem already in world football in general, but in MLS largely, especially because of how demanding the travel schedule is compared to other leagues. You now have the worst travel schedule in the world, playing in incredibly harsh conditions in a lot of the northern markets during these winter months. And a schedule that is going to demand absurd fixture congestion. This move completely disregards players' well-being, and it completely disregards like a quarter of the league. But the money is made in LA and Miami right now, so they're going, okay, this helps. Screw you, Minnesota. Screw you, Montreal. Screw you, Toronto.
Exactly. Like, you're basically saying, oh, I don't want these teams to succeed. We know that there's something against Canadian teams in certain American leagues. We'll get into that later. But, yeah, like, what the heck? It makes, like, you're screwing over half the league. And also, I was going to say, like, the MLS, I mean, this is also a thing in, like, European football and world football in general, but there's other competitions. But the MLS has so many. Like, what's happening with Leagues Cup? What's happening with the Canadian Championship / US Open Cup? What's with the CONCACAF Champions League? What's with, like, there's so many other competitions that the MLS does, or it makes you be included in. They have a limit to 2 now to limit fixture congestion, but even still, that's not enough. And also, they mentioned, 90% or so are still going to be within the regular MLS schedule. Yeah, because but also the MLS schedule is continuous. You're not having a 2-month break where people could just go away, get out of shape. They're not with their teammates. They're not with their club. They're not practicing. They're not getting game time in. Like, if that's a main fixture, what the heck? Like, it makes no sense. It makes no sense. Like, nope. I don't like it. I'm, like, surprised that any team north of, like, I don't know, Nashville supported this.
Now, MLS, to their credit, did also make what I think was a really good decision, in that next year they're getting rid of the MLS season pass on Apple TV and just making MLS available with a regular Apple TV subscription. That, I think, is a fantastic decision, because I think the idea of getting MLS on Apple TV was spread it to markets that are not currently watching MLS by making it available on a streaming platform that more people are going to have. The thing is, the people who are not interested enough in MLS to watch already are not going to be paying for a season pass. But with F1 also shifting to Apple TV, I think a lot of people now might be more willing to check out the league. So that was a great decision. However, doing that in conjunction with this scheduling change, it's a big risk at best and could turn into a disaster for a lot of markets at worst. Yes.
Yeah, because, like, I don't know. I still get back to, like, the winter markets thing, which I know is, like, hampering on, like, me complaining about some other markets that are not technically affected by this, that are affected by this, but my market isn't. Still, like, did they look at the attention that the CPL final got and said, oh yeah, no, we want to do that? Broski? Are you serious? Like, no. That's, you want all your players? You think Lionel Messi, Mr. Oh, turf is too hard, will play in snow? Brother.
And
just nuke half North America then. At that point, Don Garber, press the button.
Now, the other day I was watching what was one of the most insane soccer games of my life in the Canadian Premier League final between Atletico Ottawa and Cavalry, played in the snow. And I will say, fantastic game, amazing to watch. You cannot do that on a regular basis. Like, a game like that is a once-in-a-generation type thing that can happen. If it's having to happen every week for a good chunk of the season, it's not going to work. Those were damn near unplayable conditions.
It's like a Jey Uso match, okay? You can only have one of those, like, with all the super kicks, all the chops and stuff. You can only have that so many times in a month. If it happens every Raw, it's not special anymore. You don't get this reference, but if there's a wrestling person out there, you know what I'm talking about. I love Jey Uso. I loved the CPL final. Thought it was hilarious. Yeah, you can't have that every week.
Shout out my coworkers, Jaden and Crow, who will get that reference if they listen.
Hopefully.
And just speaking of dumb rule changes, I want to talk about the CFL a little bit quickly. So, first of all, Lions fall in the Western Final to the Saskatchewan Roughriders on a bit of a controversial call, but congrats to the Riders. Going to be a good Grey Cup between them and Montreal. CFL Commissioner Stuart Johnston gave an address today talking about partly the rule changes he recently implemented that would reduce the size of the field, move the goalpost to the back of the end zone, and more or less eliminate the rouge from play, at least from being as common as it is. One of the quotes he said is, "I did not do enough to emphasize something very important, our unwavering commitment to the Canadian game." I just want to address this quote. Stuart, if you meant that, you wouldn't have done this in the first place. If you meant that you were truly committed to the Canadian game and the uniqueness of the CFL, you would not have just come in and made your first big move as the commissioner to get rid of our 55-yard line, to move our goalpost to the back, to get rid of our rouge. All you are trying to do is pander to an American audience that does not want to watch this sport anyway. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with the Canadian people. Do things in a way that's actually going to make the game better for Canadians. You are a Canadian. You are running the Canadian Football League. Listen to Canada. Yes, Kyle?
I was just going to comment. So he's a new commissioner?
Yeah.
Leagues are allowed to have different commissioners?
I know. We've had like 5 CFL commissioners in our lifetime.
What? Gary Bettman's time as commissioner has outlasted my parents meeting, getting married, having children, and divorcing. Like, bro. Gary Bettman graduated university.
Gary Bettman was supposed to be the NBA commissioner before he was the NHL commissioner at one point. Did you know this?
I did not know that.
He was like the second in command to David Stern and viewed as like the successor to the NBA commissioner job, but ended up getting the NHL job.
That explains why he really doesn't care about hockey. Anyway, who are we cheering for in the Grey Cup?
I mean, I'm gonna lean Montreal, but I'm just gonna watch for a good game, and not watch for the halftime show because it's MGK and I don't want to watch that.
Right.
That was a rough choice.
There's 2 years ago they had Canadians.
2 years ago they had Green Day, and this year it's MGK. What are we doing?
Like, okay, I get it. You want to have like variety in artists. Love Green Day, but also like, especially right now. Especially right now, would you not want to get a Canadian artist? There are so many good ones out there.
Even if you don't want a Canadian artist, like
literally anyone other than MGK.
Could we get a good artist?
Yeah. Could we get someone? I would rather have current day Justin Bieber do it. And that's saying something.
What if we just went, do we really need a halftime show this year?
Shawn Mendes? Like, who was it last year?
Jonas Brothers at BC Place.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I also don't like them, but still, MGK? Sabrina Carpenter's in Canada, take her! I don't care. Anyway, I love Sabrina Carpenter. Olivia Rodrigo's free, she's not touring.
That would have been sick.
Yeah.
I don't know, see if Bad Bunny wants to do this one too. Worth a shot.
Gaviani has to speak French.
Stromae.
No, there's so many good artists in Canada. There's so many good. Thank you.
He's not Canadian, but still, he's good.
Oh God.
Belgian, I believe.
Still French.
Yeah. Okay, if they host a Grey Cup in Montreal, get Stromae.
Yes. Or the guy who did Eurovision a couple years ago for France. He was great.
Sure.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have known, but yeah.
Power ballad king. You know who they could have gotten to make it really funny after the Super Bowl halftime show this year?
No. I
get it, Alex. You agree with me. God. Yeah, no, literally, I would have rather taken the guy who played the main teacher in Glee. And I don't like that guy. So, yeah. That's all. MGK is so bad. And I hope Megan breaks it off. She deserves better than that weirdo. Basically,
I thought she did,
me.
but I'm
Megan
also
Fox,
so behind on
me.
celebrity news.
Okay, if she did, I'm like, I need to check.
What?
I'm checking.
You said if she did. I thought you said is she dead.
Oh,
okay.
Wait, no.
Hold on.
No. Oh, they broke up!
Yeah, I thought they did.
Engagement was called off. She had their daughter, but I'm not sure. I think they're not together anymore. Let's go. Because MGK is a weirdo. His name's Coulson.
The most in-depth analysis on the Chroncast.
He identifies politically as an anarchist.
Interesting.
Grown-ass man, by the way. Grown-ass man. What else? Do you want to talk about Sam Darnold?
I do want to talk about Sam
Which is quite literally in our planning doc.
Yes, I wrote Sam Darnold. It's not necessarily Sam Darnold I want to talk about. I just didn't want to write Seahawks game. I wanted to write this instead because I've seen too much of Patriots fans talking about Drake May. What a game from the Seahawks last Sunday. Up 35-0 at halftime, or during the first half of this game, taking home, I believe, 44-21 or something like that. Just utter belt-to-ass performance from Seattle. 2 touchdowns from Tank Lawrence, which, 2 defensive touchdowns scored basically the exact same way, where Tyrese Knight comes in with a strip sack, DeMarcus Lawrence picks up the fumble and takes it to the house. He has 4 career touchdowns, and 2 were in that game.
Who were they playing?
The Cardinals.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so not exactly the best of opposition, but still just complete dominance from this defense. I was telling my friends about this while I was watching the game. I have not felt this way watching Seahawks games in, well over a decade. Just watching how this defense operates and just the pure aura that this defense has. The way they operate is just beautiful. Just complete dominance on the line. Secondary looks fantastic. Rookie Nick Immanwori is all over the place. Huge game this Sunday coming up against the Rams. Probably the 2 best teams in the NFC facing off against each other. Should be huge. I think the Seahawks defense, should be enough of a headache for Matt Stafford. Let's see what the offense can do. But just Sam Darnold, had to throw the ball 12 times in a performance where the Seahawks put up 44 points or something.
That's quite a bit.
Drew Lock came into the game. They benched Darnold for most of the fourth quarter just because he did not need to be there.
Honestly,
they were just
great.
Take the rest of the day off. Take the rest of the day off. You're good. Let's throw the backup out there.
Yeah.
And Jackson Smith and Jigba, it's gotten to the point where if he gets a 93-yard game, I'm like, oh, he only got 93 yards. This man is the best receiver in the NFL. On pace, I believe still on pace to break the record for receiving yards in a single season. On pace to, I believe, become the only NFL player to ever record a 2,000-yard receiving season.
Oh, that's a lot.
Would be breaking Calvin Johnson's record, which would be just insane.
When was that record set?
End of the 2000s, I believe.
Okay.
I forget the exact year.
The only NFL game I watched this weekend, because I had to work, was the Eagles game.
Oh, no.
That was a choice. that was a choice.
I'll put it this way. I went to watch that game, too. I'm really glad I was at a place that served alcohol.
What? Okay, I watched a game a couple weeks ago. Was it the Amazon game, maybe?
Possibly.
I forgot who was playing, but every other play
Raiders,
was
Broncos?
a fumble. Yes.
Yep, that was...
Yeah.
Every
play was not a fumble. A flag.
I'm not saying this dramatically.
Every time.
This is no hyperbole. That was possibly the worst NFL game I have ever watched.
Yeah, like, at one point, it just became comical, because I was watching with my dad, and, like, we're sitting there, and the commentators are like, and there's a flag on the play. If you took a shot every time that they said that there was a flag on the play, at halftime you would need to go to the ER to get your stomach pumped. That's how many flags there were.
Yeah.
It was insane.
Absurd.
Yeah. Anyway.
You want to get into the MLB awards?
Okay. The MLB made some choices with a lot of the things that they did this year, including what's a playable ball, but I don't need to think about that anymore, except in therapy. MLB awards came out. What do you mean? The guy who had an active gambling ring and won the division last year, won the worst division again this year. Yes, two of his closers were actively throwing the game halfway through the season. Sure, they sold, but also, broski, what do you mean the guy that went last to first in a team that actually liked each other and wanted to win because of their manager? What do you mean that he got second? What do you mean that Ty France, great player, don't get me wrong, what do you mean he got the Golden Glove over Vladdy? What do you mean that only two Blue Jays were on the MLB All-Star all-whatever team? There's so many players that got completely screwed over in their recognition this year throughout the season by the MLB, and it's just, yeah, so many of the players. Yeah. I will also say, you're gonna not like this, I think Cal Raleigh deserved the MVP over Judge, but that's just me. And Shohei Ohtani, he won the NL MVP, I get it. Sure. But also them making up an award for him, like the Legendary Moment Award, in Game 4, a game he lost.
That was Game 4 of the NLCS.
Oh, okay. Well then, yeah.
That was the 10 strikeout 3 home run performance.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I forgot that bit. Also, that was a sweep of the Brewers who just ran out of steam. Bro, that's not that impressive. The legendary moment. Do not defend Shohei Ohtani.
Okay. So here's where I'm going to sit on this. On the one hand, the fact that they made up an award is pretty funny. Damn it. Gotta edit. It's funny. On the other hand, did you just call it not that impressive? He threw 10 strikeouts and hit 3 home runs. That's probably the greatest individual game in MLB history.
I do not care. It should have been for Ernie Clement. Also, the fact that Dodgers fans just hate Ernie Clement so much because he has fun is so baffling to me. Leave my king alone. That's my white boy of the year.
So I just want to talk about the awards quickly. There's just... Well, I was going to make points on 3, but one of them I jumped the gun and made my point already. I'll talk Manager of the Year first, because I do disagree with you and say that I think Stephen Vogt probably would have had my vote. Also, Dan Wilson, worth a mention, Mariners manager.
Oh, yeah, right, too.
Dan Wilson, fantastic season there. Because the thing is, the Jays did go from last to first, but they did so as aggressive buyers who had a huge offseason and have a top 5 payroll in the league, to the point where, winning your division is kind of the expectation at that point.
Well, Cleveland not from the Blue... Okay, but it's not from the Blue Jays. It's also, like, the whole team as a whole was so dismal last year, and even this year, it took a bit for them to pick up steam, and they still faced adversity, and they still came off to win it in spectacular fashion, and the whole World Series run, They
also vote before the playoffs.
Well, that's stupid.
Meanwhile, with Stephen
I don't know.
Vogt,
this guy,
he had,
this...
The biggest thing for Stephen Vogt is he had his front office and his ownership selling. Largely to the Blue Jays, in fact, with Shane Bieber and Andres Jimenez. And still managed to take a team with the 25th payroll in the league to winning a division. That's a lot harder to do than winning... Yeah, he still won it. You still had to win 88 games along the way.
Okay.
And I think that takes more than winning from a position where you're expected to win.
But the Blue Jays weren't expected to win. Okay. You know what?
But when you have a top 5 payroll...
Okay. What's the payroll of the Yankees?
It's not like they came in... Oh, the Yankees have the 3rd highest payroll. The Yankees are also in that same position, where winning should be the expectation. Notice how I have not said Aaron Boone should be in this conversation.
And what did they do this year?
Not win the division. They failed to meet expectations.
Yeah. Aaron Boone is fascinating to me.
John Schneider is fascinating to me.
Yeah, he is. I will also say, Cleveland, I had another point. Cleveland didn't have the power of friendship, okay? And John Schneider fostered that power of friendship in the club.
Stephen Vogt had his players actively throwing games and still won.
Yeah, okay, I figured out my point. Stephen Vogt winning is kind of like Rick Tocchet winning Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
I still think Tocchet should get fired, but I also do think he deserved his Jack Adams.
Any more thoughts?
Yeah, just on the AL MVP. It's hard to call that one because the way... I think it was Alex Rodriguez who put it this way on one of the Fox broadcasts. They really both deserved it this year, Judge and Raleigh. They both had MVP caliber seasons.
No, don't get me wrong. Aaron Judge was great. I do think Cal Raleigh deserved it, though. And I made the face because you agree with Aaron Rodriguez.
The thing is, with Judge, his hitting stats were a lot better. And I think every major hitting category except home runs, Judge led. Judge's on-base percentage was, I think, 100 points higher than Raleigh's. Whereas, like, Cal Raleigh was hitting 247. Aaron Judge was the batting champion at 331. And I think his OPS was, like...
Okay, well, you know what?
Significantly higher. So I don't want to take away from the year Big Dumper had, because Big Dumper did have an MVP caliber season. He just happened to have it at the same time as Aaron Judge had probably Aaron Judge's best career year and what was absolutely an MVP season.
Okay. And to all the young girls out there, it's proof that getting that BBL is not that important. It won't get you MLB MVP. Or, no, not NAL MVP. So you know what? You're perfect the way you are. Speaking of sexism... What a segue! What a segue! Give me the MVP award. God dang. Sky Sports, what are you doing? What are you doing? If you haven't been on the internet recently, Sky Sports, the big British company that runs the media company that broadcasts a lot of sports. If you've watched F1 on TSN, no, you haven't. It's basically just the Sky Sports stream. If you watch Premier League stuff, you probably know what I'm talking about as well. It's like one of the main source for sports in the UK, and a lot of it transfers over into other countries if you follow those sports. Anyway, they decided to launch a new account. Do I remember what the account's called? No. But it's a TikTok exclusive, I believe. And it's meant for girls and stuff. And it's meant for, we're gonna get, like, girls involved in sports. And it's called the little sister of the main Sky Sports account, which already, ew. But most of their content is all just, like, basically sexism. But veiled under the guise of feminism. Like, everything is just highlights, or it's a funny video of, was it Holland? Was that the one where it was like me when I get my matcha tea and my Labubu? And it's all pink glowy text. Or it's talking like, you put Sin Cara as, okay, cool, tennis guys hugging. That's so girly. It's such a, like, if you're old enough to remember the Just Girly things, this is somehow worse than that whole thing. This is the I'm just a girl, but the sexist corporate way of demeaning and undermining women who are interested in sports. It's been shown that women already like the production of stuff, and then you have these companies. I'm going to mention also, I believe, was it Sportsnet who did the video that was like girl trivia or whatever, and they had NHL players. They gave NHL players like hair curlers and like other stuff to like be like, oh, what does this do? What does this do? It's so quirky. It's so girly. It's so... Shut up! It just is demeaning. It's patronizing. You're like infantilizing women instead of uplifting them. There's nothing uplifting. And then when they face criticism for this, they're like, we don't like your energy. Like the Sky Sports TikTok, we don't like your energy in this. Like, I can't believe that's the energy you're bringing to this. What are you doing? You're alienating people rather than including them. You're not, and it's also all men's sports. It's all men's sports that they're talking about. They're not even talking about the women's sports. Forget the women's Super League. Forget all of that. Like, there's so much women's sports content out in the world right now. The Women's Champions League is going on. Like, sure, the Men's Champions League is also happening, but, like, there's so much content, and they're like, oh, no, we're going to show these two tennis guys, and we're going to put pink glowy text on them so we get the attention of women. Shut up! Shut up! Show me the highlights! I don't care if they hugged! I don't care if Yannick Sinner did something, if he said something to Carlos, okay? I don't care if Carlos, I mean, I kind of care if Carlos shaved his head again, but I don't care if they hugged. Like, is it cool? Sure, but they do that after every match, unless it's Ostapenko, because she's the whole other story. But they do that after every match, and they're not even talking about the women's game. You're not talking about, it's, okay, I had a good point about this. I'm going to find it. Yesterday. I had a good point about this last night. Where is it?
Just speaking of, like, what we were sent about this last night, you were referring to the Haaland edit. The two examples we got sent of content from them was one, the, like, Erling Haaland thing that you had just mentioned, and the second one was what I can only describe as a Zoran Mamdani thirst trap, which just...
yeah! He said, what? Thinking about Zoran Mamdani rising us and Arsenal up. Like, it's called Halo.
What?
This whole... Is that whole account not just super sexist? Okay. Introducing Sky Sports Halo, the little sis of Sky Sports. A new TikTok channel created specifically for female sports fans. We're about all sports and championing female athletes. How the hell does Zoran Mamdani, great guy, love him, how does he interact in any capacity with anything? Yeah, how the matcha plus hot girl walk combo hits, and it's Haaland running after a ball. Like, women like pink guys, look at this fantastic new idea. Like, especially when it's shown women already like the original production, why do they feel the need to dumb it down? It's kind of like the corporatization of girl math, the concept of girl math, where it's like, oh, well, if you spend this, but you save this, like, it doesn't count. Which, like, I understand in a joking context, that's a funny thing. I've said that before. But also... it's also making women sound dumber when it comes to money management, which is something they've historically struggled to get freedoms with, because I believe in the States, like, women couldn't have a bank account without a man's signature until 1974. That is after my parents were born. And this is the kind of thing that they're still going, yeah, can't believe this is what you think female sports fans like. Can't believe you brought that kind of energy, is what the Halo admin responded. It's not uplifting and empowering, it's demeaning and infantilizing. Women are not taken seriously in the sports world, and stuff like this does not help. I love the color pink. It's my favorite color. Overusing it to specifically market sports, especially exclusively men's sports, is demeaning. And whenever it's used to, I'm just a girlify something, especially sports, grinds my gears. Yeah, I love the color pink. Don't get me wrong. But whenever it's used, also when they're just talking about men's sports, it's so maddening. It's so maddening. Yeah, I can't. It's yeah, and also I'm just gonna mention, because this is a whole other slightly political thing, like the emphasis on female rather than women's sports. I feel like also, I know the UK has a lot of anti-trans rhetoric right now, and that doesn't sit right with me. But because, like, women's sports should also be an inclusive area. Anyway, it's exclusive. You're excluding people rather than including them. Because especially with the whole anti-trans athletes movement as well, internationally, really. So, yeah. Anyway, that's my point on that. Sky Sports, that sucks. You're not helping. You're actually hindering. And it's probably a man's idea. Anyway, yeah, anything else? Sorry.
No, I mean, you said it all there. Pink is a great color. This is not really the way we should be integrating it into sports. Mm-hmm. There's a much better way to go about doing this. Like, just utter mess, really. I can't come up with anything else to say. believe you wished to discuss one more thing, which was the use of spray foam in car repair.
Oh, yes, I talked about this. So I have recently gotten obsessed with this YouTube channel called Just Rolled In, which is like compiles mechanics reacting to cars that have just rolled into the shop, and like it's like customer states, blah 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 blah, and the car will be completely rusted out. I saw one that was a RAV4 that was a year younger than mine. One side of it was completely rusted out. The other side of it, part of the frame was being held up by a container of nuts. Yeah. And like it's poor well jobs. It's a great channel. Highly suggest it. But yeah, I just wanted to say, don't use spray foam or duct tape or I saw masking tape on an exhaust thing. And also, if there's a car part, don't just put it there still in the bag and expect it to work. You need to take it out and actually put it in the car. It's interesting. Yeah.
Believe you sent me a clip from this channel which featured somebody using my favorite word.
Yeah. That was a channel.
Yeah, anything else we want to touch on for this episode, or should we wrap things up?
Reportedly, Andres Cubas is still having visa issues getting down to the United States, where Paraguay has a game against Mexico. Coming up.
That'll be interesting.
Which is in San Antonio, Texas. So, yeah. Great job, U.S. Border Control. You're really doing well, keeping this family man out of the country. Honestly, I'd rather him just stay in Canada. I love Andres Cubas. Just stay here. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I think that's it for today.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening to this week's episode. Check us out on social media at Nux Chronicles. Big thank you to Helmut Marko for listening, and of course Jim Rutherford and Francesco Aquilini, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.